Hello everyone, welcome to RWRDS Canada's This Week in Rewards for the week of September 9th through to the 15th, 2023. This is our weekly newscast that we put up on our YouTube channel. And now, for the first time, and hopefully for all future episodes, we'll also be posting this as a podcast on the RWRDS Canada podcast. So yeah, you guys will get to listen to it on that platform as well. I'm sure there's probably some people who subscribe to the podcast channel, but not to our YouTube channel, so they maybe have been missing out on this. We'll be sure to cover this on a weekly basis, but don't worry, I'll still have regular podcast episodes beyond this. We're going to have, like interviews, industry outlooks, or the type of things that are done on the podcast. In the past, it's been on a little bit of a hiatus for the last part of the summer, but that's all going to change now, of course, because these will be going up weekly on the podcast as well as our YouTube channel, and then we'll have the regular podcast episodes as well. Got a few interviews that we're trying to line up here for the fall and even into the new year with loyalty programs and such. I'll keep you guys apprised on all of that. So why don't we get right into the thick of things for this week? The first thing that we kind of started out with this week was our ultimate travel credit card portfolio for those who are just starting out with points and miles, or we also call it for the ones who are really ready to get serious about reward programs. Maybe you've been collecting points or cash back, but just kind of don't really put your mind to it. It's just something you do, but you haven't really researched it, and now you're ready to get into it and want to make sure you're maximizing your rewards, getting the best rewards you can for your type of spending, and for your travel habits, your reward habits, you name it, and that's what this portfolio does. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how many more portfolios can be done because a lot of them really consist of many of the same cards. It all comes down to a lot of the top cards in Canada, and that's what this portfolio, again, is. The Ultimate Travel Credit Card Portfolio, for those just starting out with points and miles, it's the American Express Cobalt card, which is a given. I mean, it's the best credit card in Canada, so that fills your American Express position. The Mastercard position is filled with the HSBC World Elite Mastercard, and then the Visa is a TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite card. So there you have three cards which make up 3 out of the top 5 overall travel rewards cards in Canada. This is the exact same portfolio that we consider as the Ultimate Aeroplan credit card portfolio, and these cards are featured in many of the others. So I think you kind of get the picture that, yeah, I don't know how many more of these portfolios we can do. If there's something you can think of that we can put together a different type of Ultimate portfolio, for sure, let us know. If you're unfamiliar with these portfolios, we put together a wallet of 3 cards, 1 Amex, 1 Visa, 1 Mastercard, and the reason why is that these cards, there's promotions, benefits, you name it, that are specific to each issuing brand. You might have an airline that's offering 10% off when you use a Visa card, and then a hotel chain might be offering a 3rd night free when you use a Mastercard, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the reason you want to carry 1 in each wallet. Some of you out there only like to carry 1 card with an annual fee. Not a problem. You get your primary card annual fee, and then the other 2 you get a no fee version, just so that you do have that potential to take advantage of those kind of discounts or things that come across for the specific brands. And of course, places like Costco, you need a Mastercard to shop there. So that's the things you kind of take into account. So be sure to check out this Ultimate Travel Credit Card Portfolio for those who are just starting out with points and miles, or those of you who want to take the rewards industry a little more seriously and make sure you are maximizing your rewards. I'll put the link below and also on the podcast page as well. I don't want to go too much into it because you can read it all there, and I mean, I could probably do, and maybe I will do a full podcast episode on this, because I probably could talk about it for half an hour if we wanted to. Now, the one thing people may ask is, what about HSBC and the World Elite Mastercard? Seeing that the news is out now that RBC cleared the next hurdle in the acquisition of HSBC, and it really seems like a done deal. It just needs approval from the Minister of Finance. So right now, everything's up in the air. We don't know what's happening, don't know how much has been done behind the scenes. In all likelihood, I have a feeling that the World Elite Mastercard will still be around for at least a year. I could be wrong. I mean, that's the thing, like, nobody's telling us anything. None of the banks are telling us anything. Nothing's been revealed just yet. So we're just gonna have to wait to see what happens with that card. I mean, it may be something like what we saw with MBNA, like with their Alaska and Best Western, where they stop accepting new applications, but the cards go on for a little while until they're transitioned. So that's probably going to be the case here. I wouldn't be surprised if they stop accepting applications for the HSBC cards, and then they determine, once RBC completes the acquisition, they determine what they want to do with HSBC's portfolio of cards, whether they keep them going separately or if they transition them to RBC cards. So that is still all up in the air. I'm sure we'll know things pretty quickly over the next few weeks, few months, because this, like I said, it's almost a done deal, and I think they wanted it closed by the end of 2023. So I think that'll happen, and we'll just have to see what happens, what RBC is going to do with HSBC. So that was, the ultimate travel credit card portfolio for those who are starting out with points and miles. So next thing, why don't we get into another system-wide fall hotel promotion. This one from Hyatt and World of Hyatt. Their bonus journeys, that's what they call all their global promotions now, bonus journeys, but the one for fall will award you 3,000 bonus World of Hyatt points for every 3 nights you complete. Pretty straightforward bonus from Hyatt. If you're a World Hyatt member, I know they're not that big in Canada, less than 20 locations here Canada-wide, but for those traveling to the major centers in Canada or throughout the U.S. and worldwide, they've been growing their portfolio quite quickly. I think they're well over 12, maybe even close to 1,300 hotels worldwide now, probably even bigger with a lot of these takeovers and connections they've been doing. They added Lindner Hotels out of Germany just recently, and they've added a lot of all-inclusive resorts. And World of Hyatt points are pretty valuable when you want to redeem them. But on the flip side, 3 nights to get 3,000 points, so promotion. Considering Marriott's promotion is you earn it right on the first night. Hilton's promotion, you earn it starting on the first night. Best Western's only 2 nights. So this is one of the longest or like hardest ones to achieve. You actually have to stay 3 nights. Don't have to be consecutive. Could be 3 separate stays of 1 night each before you get the bonus. Just something to consider. I mean, if you're only going to have a couple stays this fall and you're looking to earn more points, then definitely consider looking at maybe one of the other programs, because if you're not going to hit those 3 nights with Hyatt's, you might be better off trying to earn more points with another program. That is, unless Hyatt's your main program, and you have no use for Marriott, Hilton, Best Western. I was going to say IHG, but we don't have any IHG promotions. They have some targeted offers. You should check your email to see if you've been targeted for those. I was not targeted this fall for those, so I don't really know them, but I know that some of the other blogs are mentioning them. So that's your next system-wide promotion. It's from Hyatt, World of Hyatt, 3,000 points for every 3 nights. Now, the next thing on the site we covered this week was our next credit card review. This one was the RBC Cashback Preferred World Elite Mastercard. So this is a card that's really overshadowed by RBC's Avion products and even their WestJet products. The bank's not very well known for their cashback cards, but this one's decent. I said it in the review. I said it holds its own, and it does, because it actually offers a decent earn rate of 1.5% cash back on your first $25,000 of spending annually. So that's a pretty decent earn rate if you're only spending that much. If you shop at Costco, you're gonna get 1.5% up to $25,000 and plus all that spending. But once you hit that $25,000, it's only 1%. Now, where this card kind of lacks is anything else in addition to that. I mean, it has decent purchase protection and extended warranty coverage. Also covers car rental insurance, but that's it. It doesn't have much else added to the card, and it does have a $99 annual fee. So it's lower than other World Elites, but then you have something like the Rogers World Elite Mastercard, which is no annual fee. It's full-time 1.5%, not capped at $25,000, and offers more insurance coverage. So something to consider, considering that you have to have the same income requirement for both cards. If you don't have any specifics where you need to get the RBC card, and this is actually an interesting fact. We helped out one of our readers a few times for cards he needs for his business. And there's some requirements. I'm not going to go into details here, but there's some requirements for his accounting systems where the card issuers need to have a certain program behind the scenes so that they can connect to their accounting system and stuff. and cards like Rogers and certain banks don't connect. So this card actually worked out for them because RBC does connect behind the scenes, and they need it for their business. So this works out. So that's, for some people this may be the proper card, like that, like the reader of ours that we helped out. This card worked out better for them than the Rogers or that, because unfortunately Rogers would not be able to connect behind the scenes. So that's something to consider. But if for most consumers, most Canadians, yeah, you're probably better off with the Rogers World Elite Mastercard. But yeah, check out the review. Maybe this one is the right one for you. And then we have coming up, what was the next thing this week? Next week was Air Canada and Aeroplan had a few things. The first one was the announcement that their Hotel Savers program, well, not just Hotel Savers, I take that back. Any hotels that you book via Air Canada Aeroplan and you use points for them, you can now receive the 4th night free if you hold an Aeroplan credit card. So if you're, I put up an example of this picture here of the Intercontinental in Bora Bora. That seems to be everybody's most famous, popular one that they like to use, because that's a Hotel Savers hotel that Aeroplan has. And we have to make that distinction. Hotel Savers are specific partnered hotels with Aeroplan, just over 7,000 of them, where you get special pricing. They kind of have that set award chart. It's not really set, but it kind of gives a guideline of how many points they have category 1 through 8. Bora Bora is a category 8. So you get discounted points pricing compared to if the hotel wasn't a Hotel Saver with Aeroplan. So this Bora Bora, we put in the post an example. It was just over 400,000 points for a 4-night stay. So if you use an Aeroplan co-brand card on that 4th night, you will get that free. And they take the average across the 3 nights. So it's something like 114,000 point saving for those 4 nights. And it repeats. So if you book an 8-night stay, you're going to get 2 nights free. If you book a 12-night stay, it's 3 nights, and so on and so forth. So a really good deal, similar to Marriott's 5th night free option, but this is only 4th night, of course. But on the flip side, the difference there is the Marriott one, you don't have to be a co-brand card holder. So if you're an Air Canada Aeroplan member who does not have an Aeroplan co-brand card, you will not get this 4th night free benefit. And then I'll go back to that distinction of Hotel Savers versus non. You can actually book more hotels through Aeroplan than just Hotel Savers. They have something like 300,000 or something like that. You can actually book. So all the others, you're going to redeem the regular amount of points, whatever that is. I mean, it's going to vary, of course. But again, you'll still get that 4th night free. So whether it's a regular hotel or a Hotel Savers hotel, you can get that 4th night free by being a TD Aeroplan credit card holder. So that was the first thing from Aeroplan. And, I don't have an image for this, but I'm going to make one more note. Rogers made a really interesting change to their Rogers Mastercard. This is the red card. They also call it the red card. It used to be known, when it was first released not too long ago, as Rogers Connections Mastercard. So they made this very much more appealing, because before, if you wanted to earn 2% cash back with it, you needed 2 Rogers services, 1 home service and mobile service, or cell phone service. And then they switched it to 1 Rogers, 1 Shaw when they took over Shaw. Now they've gone even further. You only need 1 Rogers service. So this is very compelling, in that if you say just have a mobile phone with Rogers, a mobile plan, you can get this card and 2% cash back on all your purchases. It goes even higher than that. If you actually redeem that cash back for your Rogers bill, you'll get 2.6% back, because they give you a 30% bonus. That's the highest earn rate, highest base earn rate out of any card in Canada for cash back. So that's a really good thing. But of course, you have to be a Rogers customer, which there are a lot of Rogers customers. So, stay tuned for more coverage of this. We just put in one of our daily updates this week. But I think that card's due for a review now that they've made a few changes to it. It hasn't even been out for a year, if I recall correctly. So I think it's due for a review. I'll review it. Hopefully they won't be making any more changes, because there's been quite a few to it already in that 1 year. So we did the 4th night free. I'm trying to see what else. Ooh, and then the next why don't we do the next Aeroplan one? This one just came out actually today, which is Friday, September 15th, which has been being released, and that's the Aeroplan Flight Redemption Sale. This is their biggest sale, or that's what they say, their biggest sale ever in award flights since the relaunch of the program in 2020. So what this is Aeroplan members can save up to 25% on the required amount of Aeroplan points when you redeem for award flights in any cabin within Canada to the US, Mexico, Caribbean, Costa Rica, Panama, and Belize. The sale is valid for bookings made until September 29th and good for travel until March 31st. Now, of course, it's going to vary totally by route, by date, and all that stuff. With your departure city, where you're traveling to. We put up in the blog post, Aeroplan did supply us with a list of the routes that they think will have the greatest discounts and the greatest ability to find these rewards, but you can search all across. Of course, the Aeroplan website doesn't specifically show you what, how much is being discounted. I guess it would have been good if we had a little bit longer or a little more knowledge of this sale beforehand, where we could have taken maybe some rewards, screenshots of some rewards prior to the sale launching, and then after, to seeing, kind of what the discounts are. But yeah, just know that there right now you do have the option to go out and book a lot of flights within North America where you can save some Aeroplan points up to 25%. So again, all of these will be in the description below on YouTube and on our podcast page for those who are listening to this as a podcast, because it's the first time that we're putting This Week in Rewards on the podcast. And if you are enjoying this content, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, or on your favorite podcast listening platform, be sure to subscribe there. Give us a 5-star rating on those platforms if you really enjoy what we like, or what we if you guys like it. Of course, we like it. But yeah, and then hit that notification bell so you know when anything new comes up for the RWRDS Canada podcast or on our YouTube channel. And so the last thing I'm going to cover this week are the changes from Delta SkyMiles. So this isn't as huge for Canadians. Like, there is a lot of uproar in the States, and I mean rightfully so. This program has been just taking away over the years. They made elite status and lounge access very easy over the years, but a lot of other things, like in terms of the amount of miles it takes to redeem for flights, even miles earning, it was just, they'd taken that away over the years. And I noticed, even from 20 plus years of tracking bonus offers from programs, SkyMiles used to have tons of bonus offers for flights, joining the program, hotels, you name it. And for the last 6-7 years, pretty much nothing. There's very few. It's very rare to earn a SkyMiles bonus on a hotel stay. Car rentals, the same thing. They just did away with that. They really focused on their credit card partnership and just getting people flying the airline and less worried about the actual loyalty side of things. So anyways, I kind of went off there. So what they've done with the program, it's mainly on the elite side. It is the elite side of things. So if you want to qualify for Delta Medallion status, Medallion's what they call their elite program, it's all going to be based on Medallion qualifying dollars. So this is based on spend, solely on spend. They used to have things called Medallion, or I guess they still do, because these changes won't take place till next year. They have Medallion qualifying segments, Medallion qualifying miles. So you could qualify having either segments or miles and dollars if you lived in the US, or even Canadians could. But if, as a Canadian, you could also get a waiver to do away with the Medallion qualifying dollars, because I know people outside of the US, it's harder to earn those Medallion qualifying dollars. So gone will be segments and miles. Now it's going to be dollars only, so it is strictly spend. So even for Canadians, or anybody else around the world outside the US, it's still all strictly spend based, and it's big spend. Like, for example, silver, the lowest level, currently only needed 3,000 MQDs plus your segments and miles, and now they need 6,000. So they've doubled that spend, and that's US dollars. So you're looking at, if you were flying Delta solely alone, you'd be looking at, just over 8,000 Canadian dollars in flights to receive just silver status. Whereas that same $8,000, if you spent it and applied that to WestJet, you'd be getting platinum status with a lot more benefits than Delta Silver. So these are things to take into consideration, especially because I know some of our readers have told us how they actually credit WestJet flights to Delta, and they redeem Delta SkyMiles for WestJet. So now I have a feeling some of those Canadians who are flying other SkyTeam airlines or partners like WestJet will now, and we're crediting to Delta and SkyMiles, will now probably reconsider that and look at a different program. Flying Blue is still pretty decent. WestJet rewards, of course. So these are things to look at if you have been a Delta SkyMiles flyer, Delta SkyMiles Elite especially, and these changes really don't make sense for you. The other big changes within that, I mean, that's the qualifying dollars. and luckily doesn't affect us as much, is accessing Delta Sky Club lounges. Delta Sky Club lounges have been suffering, like many lounges, from overcrowding. But if you see pictures on social media, the lineups for some of these locations in the U.S. are just insane. So on the U.S. side of things, well, they never mentioned this, but they said, Amex card holders, whether it was a Delta Amex or just the Platinum card from American Express, would only receive will only receive 6 visits per year starting February 1st, 2025. Unless that person spends $75,000 a year on their card, then they'll get unlimited visits. So it's kind of similar to what Amex did for Centurion Lounge access for their U.S. cards, of course, not for the Canadian ones. And also the Delta American Express Platinum card in the States doesn't receive any access anymore as of 2025. So they're really trying to clear out their lounges. Well, not clear them out, but make access a little bit easier. But of course, in all their news, because pretty much all U.S. based, there was no mention as to American Express Platinum card holders in other countries like Canada. So I reached out to American Express, and they came back really quick to us and said, yeah, Canadians still receive unlimited access. So we are lucky. We will not be limited to 6 visits per year. If you have a Canadian Platinum American Express card, you can still access Delta Sky Clubs as of February 1st, 2025, unlimited access, as long as you're flying on a Delta flight, or actually you have a Delta boarding pass. So it could be, I believe it can be operated by a different airline, but as long as it's a Delta ticket, Delta boarding pass, you can still access the Sky Clubs with your Platinum card. Now, the Delta access has always only been for the card holder. Guests you would have to pay for. Haven't heard whether they'll do away with the guests. I'm assuming they'll still allow you to pay for guests, unless, of course, the guest has, if you have a supplementary card for your spouse or kids or whatever, they should be able to get access to you because it's considered a separate access card. So it's good news for Canadian Platinum card holders. Your access to Delta Sky Club lounges does not change February 1st, 2025. And yeah, so I think that's everything. If you guys have any questions, need clarifications on anything, feel free to let me know in the comments below or send us an email via our contact form on the site. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you for tuning in on the podcast. And this will now, like I said, will be a weekly feature on the RWRDS Canada podcast as well. So thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys next week.